Fall for the Book, October 10th through 13th. Visit fallforthebook.org or download the free app to get the schedule.
Good morning, America. This morning, wiped out, surveying the damage from Hurricane Michael.
This is where the wind and surge was greatest. The water ripping these homes off their foundations.
The death toll rising. We're on the ground as rescue teams search the disaster zone.
Believe it or not, there are still people within these buildings.
Survivors riding out the monster storm, telling their stories.
I was just like this, me and the dog.
And the update on the hurricane's littlest victims and how they're being saved.
Breaking overnight, pastor released, freed by Turkey after 2 years in detention. Andrew Brunson kissing the American flag, now heading to Washington.
We're very honored to have him back with us.
The meeting he'll have today with President Trump.
Caught on camera, surprise landing for this small plane. A pilot takes emergency action. That plane sails nose first by parachute right into a parking lot filled with cars. How the pilot and passenger are doing this morning.
And demanding a recall, a consumer group raising concerns, pointing to what they say is a potential fire risk involving nearly 3 million Kias and Hyundais, citing more than 200 complaints. How the automakers are responding.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning. Dan is off, but we are very happy to have Adrian Bankert with us this morning.
Thank you, guys.
Definitely. And double duty today, still doing the pop news as well.
You gotta have pop.
Yeah.
To pull a lot of weight this morning. But we begin this morning with the monumental recovery efforts facing Florida's Panhandle in the wake of devastating Hurricane Michael. The damage just defying description this morning when you see these aerial views.
Yeah, it's been really emotional to see the families affected. Their search and rescue crews have fanned out into those destroyed neighborhoods looking for survivors who rode out the storm in homes, hotels, and other buildings that are now a tangle of debris.
And caravans of utility workers are in the disaster zone working on restoring power. Here's what we know so far this morning. At least 17 people confirmed dead across the South from the storm. More than 1.3 million people are in the dark across 6 states, and more than 4,000 people still in shelters this morning.
We have team coverage on Michael's aftermath. First, let's go to Rob Marciano in Panama City with a look at one spot that was nearly wiped off the map. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Eva. Here we are. Day 3 of Hurricane Michael aftermath, and scenes like this behind me are all over this place. Commercial buildings, residential buildings, thousands of them damaged or completely destroyed. This entire area around Panama City, for the most part, is crippled, but obviously in the hardest hit areas, there is still a huge rush to search for victims. This morning, a massive cleanup and search and rescue effort underway.
Bolt cutters, pry bars, sledgehammers, anything else you may need.
Michael making landfall here in Mexico Beach, Florida, pummeling this quaint oceanside town with a 14-foot storm surge and 155-mile-per-hour winds.
This is where the wind and surge was greatest. The water ripping these homes off their foundations and carrying them, in some cases, hundreds of yards inland. The stronger, higher buildings remain, but the expanse of the damage is mind-boggling.
The water just came from the canal and started getting higher, about 5 feet inside the houses. The only thing you could do at that moment is swim.
Daniel Krupp reluctantly deciding to ride out the storm with his wife and their dog Leo.
You give up at a point that you realize that there's nothing. You are now in God's hands, and a calm actually kind of comes over you, but you're terrified.
These before and after aerial images showing the sweeping extent of the devastation. The area looking akin to a war zone with entire neighborhoods leveled. On the ground, ominous smoke detector beeps coming from homes reduced to piles of debris.
Believe it or not, there are still people within these buildings.
Overnight, the city's first confirmed fatality. Now, time running out to get help and critical services to others who've stayed behind.
You have individuals that were here and okay at first, but now 2, 3, 4 days have gone by and they realize they have no food and no water, and what wasn't an emergent condition now becomes one.
The town's police department of only 8 officers hit badly by the storm.
We don't have a building. From my understanding, that the water surge moved it off of its foundation.
Residents surveying the damage.
Like everybody we know lost their house. everybody and our jobs.
It's a devastation. It's like a bomb just went off here.
Farther inland, Gail Sweet tragically losing her husband to the storm when a tree fell on their house.
It was just like a freight train coming at us.
The tree pinning the couple down and seriously injuring Gail's husband.
I told him, hold on, just hold on. I'm calling for help now.
But the storm preventing first responders from getting there in time.
It got me out, but he was already gone by the time I got here.
Back on the coast near Mexico Beach, Tyndall Air Force Base also taking a direct hit. Michael shredding this hangar's roof, but military crews already on the ground Friday as cargo planes arrived with much needed supplies.
And of course, getting that military operation back operational is of key importance. I can tell you after surveying much of the damage here along the coastline in my 20 years of covering storms, I have never seen wind damage like this from a hurricane. It is literally like a EF2 or EF3 tornado 20 or 30 miles wide. So when you hear these survivor stories, boy, they are just heart-wrenching and frightening. For more on some of that, let's get over to Will Carr, who's live for us in Destin, Florida. Good morning to you, Will.
Good morning, Rob. A lot of the people we've been talking to say the sheer power of this storm is what caught them off guard. They say when it was a Category 1, they felt fine staying, but when it jumped to a Cat 4, they didn't have time to leave. Now this morning, we're hearing their harrowing stories of survival.
This morning, you're about to meet two hurricane survivors who wish they left when they could have.
It was a life or death situation. I don't think any of us expected the storm to do the kind of damage that it did.
John Pendulo, like so many others, chose to ignore evacuation orders and ride out the storm. The hurricane gutted Pendulo's home.
The ceiling's gone.
And it started falling all around me.
That's when he grabbed his dog Rosie and ran into the bedroom closet.
I was just like this, me and the dog. I was right here, sitting just like this, and the dog was right here, and she would not leave my side, and she would not move.
Miraculously, the two escaped unharmed. Crews now pulling survivors to safety from the air while going door to door with canines on the ground.
We were just surprised by the sheer damage. This type of destruction we haven't seen since I was a kid, and that was Hurricane Andrew. This is pretty extensive.
Down the road, the walls on a large church stripped away. Amazingly, the cross on top still standing. The building and community surrounded by thousands of downed trees. This morning, crews desperately working to restore power to more than 1 million people in 6 states.
It's sad, you know, that we don't get to keep our stuff, you know, but I mean, it's just stuff, and I'm glad that I'm alive and my dog's made it alive.
Really an amazing story, especially when you saw him there down in the closet. He says he relied on his faith during the peak of the storm. And like so many others we've been talking to, he says he wished he had evacuated when he could have. Guys.
Wow. Thank you so much, Will. And you think about the people, you think about the amount of damage there. Some people have compared this to a war zone, completely flattening neighborhoods, but also Tyndall Air Force Base, completely destroyed, home to several fighter jets.
One thing to remember, too, people went to bed thinking this was a Category 2.
And
they decided not to evacuate. Then woke up Cat 4, too late to get out.
Yeah, and it's not just their homes, it's the businesses, everything.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait for a complete damage report and how much this is going to cost to clean up. Thank you so much to all of our teams there covering that story in the Panhandle. We'll have much more on the aftermath of Hurricane Michael coming up a little bit later. But now to the search for answers in the disappearance of a Washington Post columnist who vanished after going into a Saudi Arabian embassy in Turkey.
ABC's Julia McFarlane is in our London bureau with what President Trump is saying about the mystery. Good morning, Julia.
Good morning, Eva. This is quickly escalating into a diplomatic crisis for the president, an immensely important relationship he's gone to great lengths to cultivate. He was on the campaign trail last night, but instead faced calls to demand answers from the Saudis. This morning, President Trump under growing pressure as grisly claims emerge on the alleged torture and murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The president saying overnight he will call the King of Saudi Arabia.
I will be calling at some point King Salman.
According to the Washington Post, Turkish officials claim that they have proof, audio and video recordings of the murder inside the consulate. The Post quoting a source saying, "You can hear his voice and the voices of men speaking Arabic. You can hear how he was interrogated, tortured, and then murdered." In this timeline of events, according to the Washington Post, Khashoggi is seen entering the Saudi consulate October 2nd. Hours earlier, according to Turkish media, a private jet arrived from Saudi Arabia with 9 men on board. After Khashoggi had been inside the compound for 2 hours, 2 black vehicles are seen leaving the back entrance, allegedly the hit squad, which are traced back to the residence of a top Saudi official. Meanwhile, Khashoggi's fiancée is still waiting for him outside the consulate. Later that evening, 2 Saudi planes depart Turkey. If proven, the state-sanctioned torture and murder of a US resident would blow a hole in one of the president's closest allies. And the backlash is growing. Dozens of American companies and public figures all pulling out of an international conference in Riyadh later this month, citing Turkish claims that Khashoggi was murdered. Whit?
All right, Julia McFarlane in London, thank you so much. Meantime, overnight, President Trump rallied supporters in a key battleground state.
The president out in Ohio speaking about his success in helping to get an American pastor who was detained in Turkey home. ABC's White House correspondent Tara Palmieri has more.
Overnight, President Trump kicking off his Ohio rally by touting the return of an American citizen.
Earlier today, we secured the release of Pastor Andrew Brunson from Turkey.
Andrew Brunson, an evangelical pastor from North Carolina, was convicted by a Turkish court who accused him of spying and aiding terrorists following a Turkish coup attempt in 2016. Brunson and U.S. officials deny those charges. The pastor celebrating the end of his 24-month detention by kissing the American flag after touching down in Germany. Trump, who has increased pressure on the Turkish government for the pastor's release, says he's invited Brunson for a special visit to the White House today.
We're very honored to have him back with us. He suffered greatly, but we're very appreciative to a lot of people.
It's been a busy week at the White House. The president says he's been managing Hurricane Michael relief.
They'll rebuild, they're strong, they're great people, and just God bless you all.
But also hosting celebrities in the West Wing, like Kid Rock and Kanye West, who made a splash in the Oval Office on Thursday.
I love this guy right here.
At one point, the president seemingly at a loss for words.
I'll tell you what, that was pretty impressive.
That visit, even a talking point at Friday's rally.
I never knew I'd say this, but God bless Kanye West.
Meanwhile, former Vice President Joe Biden issuing harsh words for the president at a separate rally in Kentucky Friday night.
Our values are being shredded. Our democracy is under assault. A president has put his own interests before those of our ideals.
Like President Trump, Vice President Joe Biden is out on the campaign trail stumping for vulnerable candidates ahead of the midterm elections. He's hitting the president hard in states that he won, possibly testing out material for a potential 2020 run. Whit?
The midterms just weeks away. Tara Palmieri at the White House, thank you. Word this morning that the State Department has revoked Hillary Clinton's security clearance. The move comes amid the agency's review of the former Secretary of State's use of her private email server. A letter published on Friday by Republican Senator Chuck Grassley shows Clinton's clearance was revoked on August 30th, but a Clinton spokesperson says she made the request herself, wanting to avoid the, quote, partisan controversy.
A lot to talk about here this morning. Let's bring in ABC News Chief Political Analyst Matthew Dow. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Ava.
Now, several Republican senators and President Trump all speaking out about the disappearance of a U.S.-based journalist from Saudi Arabia. What's at stake politically over the potential murder of Jamal Khashoggi?
Well, the first big problem is probably the biggest rupture in our relationship with Saudi Arabia since 9/11. So that's a huge problem. In this case, there seems to be universal condemnation of the Saudi government in what happened in this by not only American businesses, but internationally in the course of this. The problem for Donald Trump is the close relationship and the business relationships he's had with the Saudis and the close relationship his son-in-law, who works in the White House, Jared Kushner, has with the Crown Prince. This is a huge problem, I think, for this White House. But the good news is there seems to be bipartisanship breaking out in Washington, D.C. over what's happened. And it looks like the Congress is going to do something about it.
Still a lot of questions about what happened in that case. Also, a new ABC News Washington Post poll finds 51% of Americans disapprove of Justice Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation to the Supreme Court. 53% are in favor of further investigation of Kavanaugh by Congress. And when it comes to women, that number is even higher. 58% want the investigations. That could lead to efforts to remove him from office, to continue. Is this detrimental to the nation's highest court, and is Kavanaugh's position in any real jeopardy?
Well, I'll take the second part first. I don't think Brett Kavanaugh's position's in any real jeopardy. I think the Democrats are not going to try to impeach him or take him out. One, they probably don't have the votes to do it anyway, and two, it's probably not a good thing in the midst of this process. But the first part is more important, which is I think over time the Supreme Court has been politicized. Many people think it started with Bush v. Gore after the 2000 election. But over time, and I think this just added to it, unfortunately, it's one of the last institutions in our country that wasn't viewed as political. But in the aftermath of this, it's now viewed as political. I think Kavanaugh is safe, but the integrity of the Supreme Court, I think, is in question by many people.
And always thankful for your insight this morning, Matt Dowd, joining us.
From Texas.
Yes.
Yeah. Hello, Texas. Well, we have a lot to talk about this morning.
We do. Some other headlines. We're following a verdict in the case of a white homeowner in the suburbs of Detroit accused of shooting a black teenager who went to his door to allegedly ask for directions. Jeffrey Ziegler, seen on surveillance video firing gunshots from his porch as the teen runs away. A jury now convicting him of assault. Ziegler is set to be sentenced next month and could face up to 12 years behind bars. The teen was not hurt in that shooting.
Now to rising concerns over that rare disease that can cause paralysis, especially among children. There have been dozens of cases of AFM, or acute flaccid myelitis, in at least 16 different states. The New York State Department of Health is now warning parents to be on the lookout for a respiratory virus that can lead to that rare disease. ABC's chief medical correspondent, Dr. Jen Ashton, joins us from London with what parents need to know. Dr. Jen, this seems a lot scarier than a seasonal flu. What exactly are these two different illnesses and how are they connected?
Right. Let me break it down for you, because we're talking here about a relatively common respiratory virus called enterovirus that gives you typically mild symptoms, very much like the common cold: sneezing, cough, runny nose, maybe some muscle and body aches. Occasionally, it has been associated with AFM, or acute flaccid myelitis. Now, that gives you symptoms very much like polio, weakness or paralysis in the arms and legs. Polio and enterovirus are part of the same family, but right now, these cases that we're seeing in the country, only one has been confirmed to be associated with enterovirus. So while there is cause for concern, and for sure public health officials are watching this, no cause for panic. In medicine, we say an increased risk of a rare event is still a rare event.
Okay, well, that's comforting. What should parents do to protect their kids against EV?
Hand hygiene, very, very important. If you're around someone who's sick, make sure you're washing your hands, disinfecting those hot spot surfaces. Use common sense precautions, the same precautions we talk about for reducing the risk of influenza, reduce the risk of enterovirus.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Jen. Always good to hear from you. And I hear people sometimes singing happy birthday while they're washing their hands. Make sure you wash your hands thoroughly.
If I could only get my 4-year-old to wash her hands before she sucks her thumb, then we'd be in good shape. But we're working on it.
That's always a problem. Time now for weather. Let's go back to Rob in Panama City, Florida. Just destruction everywhere you look there, Rob.
It is, guys, and you know what? We think about hurricane season in the midst of August and September, but it goes right through October, right through November, and even still in the Pacific Ocean, where we had a major hurricane there recently, Sergio, which made landfall in Mexico, and now it's impacting the United States. Want to show you some lightning strikes out of Los Angeles, the trough behind Sergio digging into Southern California, so they're getting a little bit of early raining season here with some lightning strikes. Not something you see all the time. Flash flood watches are posted for some of that area, also in parts of western Arizona, and then you see the rain now moving across Texas. That's actually the leftover circulation of Sergio about to cross the Red River Valley, and that will bring us a threat for severe weather across central Texas today and tomorrow, and a decent amount of rain from Austin, Dallas, up through Little Rock as well. Those are the checks on the major weather headlines nationally. It's time now for a look at your local forecast.
And a very good morning, meteorologist Brian Vandergraff. A refreshing start out there with temperatures in the 50s and 40s. Tomorrow, though, we'll start off with some 30s and 40s. Some showers pushing through the area, heaviest off to the north. These showers will probably taper off around mid-morning, and skies will start to clear. Your hour-by-hour forecast for the day taking us to right around 60, but more in the way of some sunshine by the back half of the day. But it does remain too cool, and that breeze will still kick out of the northwest. Tonight, the chilliest of them all, a little bit warmer, though, as we head into early next week.
It is day 3 of the aftermath here and the recovery efforts. It is also the 3rd day of some decent